AMC's Movie Palace Memories would like to thank the Minneapolis City Council and the team of 24 architects and engineers and support personnel for their work in restoring this splendid movie palace. I understand that while it looks very much the same now after it's been restored, it's even better than the original was. It's been expanded to the point that now it's one of the 10 premier theaters in the United States capable of accommodating even the largest and most elaborate Broadway touring productions. Now, happily, the history of the Orpheum Theater is still very much alive. It hasn't been relegated to one of those seldom seen books in the back of a library somewhere. Now, its long tradition can be remembered and experienced simply by purchasing a ticket and stepping into this magnificent theater. Put it on your must-see list next time you visit the Twin Cities. For AMC's Movie Palace Memories, I'm Bob Dorian.
This airmail service gets better and better every day. Dear Hedda, you wanted a story about how the Hollywood dog is trained in my school. We're ready for you this afternoon. Cordially, Carl Spitz. Okay, Crow, let's go. Hollywood Dog Training School is unique in a town that's so full of hounds. Because here, in addition to training dogs for picture work, Carl Spitz educates the star's pets, teaches them to behave on a leash like ladies and gentlemen, how to guard a mink coat or how to snub a mutt from Poverty Row. You know, someday this little fellow will be a Cocker Spaniel, but right now he doesn't care. And this Pomeranian is Sissy, a protege of Lena Turner's, who also owns this youngster, Lady. Here are a couple of refugees, but they've taken out their first papers. The school begins naturally with kindergarten, where puppyhood is spent in a more or less carefree manner, although the rudiments of good behavior are taught. In grammar school, they receive advanced training, such as Prince Carl, the Great Dane, is getting here. Because dog and deer are scheduled to work in a picture together, they live for several weeks in adjoining runways. Then, when accustomed to each other's scent and appearance, they're perfectly at home in the same cage, with no danger to the deer. Jumping and climbing ladders is part of the advanced training, because a poor dog never knows what some director will ask him to do in a picture. Mr. Binky, a Scottie who rates as one of Hollywood's smartest movie dogs, is quick to learn a new trick. Remember him in The Light That Failed as Ronald Colvin's pal? In order to earn his hamburgers, a Hollywood dog has to work with silent commands. Otherwise, the trainer's voice would spoil the scene. Here, Prince Carl demonstrates that every movement of his master's hand has a meaning of its own. In addition to training dogs for studios and stars, Spitz is educating them for national defense. Dogs of many breeds are being trained for guard duty, and some already are in active Army service. His master's voice now follows any Army dog wherever duty calls him. After many months of experimentation, radio control has been perfected for our four-legged soldiers. A small receiving set on the dog's back brings commands from headquarters.
Attention, Buck.
To your station.
Buck, easy now, easy.
Easy. Down, Buck.
Buck, attention now.
Sit, Buck.
All right.
Stand. Up, Buck. To the fence. To the fence, Buck. Buck, watch over the fence.
Uncle Sam expects you to keep a good watch, Buck, and we know you will. For the blood that flows through your veins stands for endurance, faithfulness, and courage. No fancy Hollywood boots, these. They've tramped through the dust and death of the Spanish Civil War, the mud and blood of China's fight for freedom. They belong to Ernest Hemingway, famous author and adventurer, now on a hunting trip in Idaho with his pal, Gary Cooper, to whom the great open spaces aren't just a movie location. No, sir. Gary's idea of a vacation is to get as far away from Hollywood Boulevard as possible, where game doesn't mean gin rummy. Her pen name is Martha Gellhorn, but in private life she's Mrs. Ernest Hemingway. And another member of the Cooper expedition is President Roosevelt's daughter, Anne Bottiger. Mrs. Hemingway is an expert markswoman, but the president's daughter took her first lesson yesterday. She isn't doing badly either. Rabbit hunting is all right, but for fast action, Gary decides on skeets. Now, you know that his movie marksmanship isn't just a gag. But there's competition in the Cooper clan, though, because Sandra Shaw, Gary's lovely wife, won the California Women's Skeet Shooting Championship only a few years ago. Between summer sun and winter snow makes Sun Valley a hunter's paradise and a favorite rendezvous for the Coopers and their friends. Sandra doesn't hunt for game, but limits her sports to skeets and skiing when there's a patch of snow left anywhere. Gary's apt to disappear early in the morning with his rifle hot on the trail of a coyote. Seems silly when there's so many wolves right here in Hollywood. The Hemingways first met in Spain, where Mrs. Hemingway was a war correspondent and Ernest was gathering material for his novel, For Whom the Bell Tolls. And unless I miss my guess, you're going to see Cooper in the leading role of that story when it hits the screen. As a matter of fact, Gary's eating chili and beans right now just to get into the mood. On the way to Snake River Canyon, we're slowed down by a mere 800 sheep. Count them. Go on, I dare you. They've been up in the mountain ranges all summer, and they're going to the home pastures for winter. Snake River Canyon is about 100 miles from Sun Valley and a favorite haunt of wild pigeons. Gary's got his mind on pigeon pie for dinner, and so is his director, Howard Hawks, who made Ball of Fire with Cooper and Barbara Stanwyck. The Hemingways and Anne Bottiger keep their eyes peeled for game. Christopher Lafarge, Connecticut poet, combines hunting with inspiration. shooting, Gary. And those pheasants look like good eating, too. Come to think of it, Gary was born just 300 miles from here. That was in Helena, Montana. So it's not surprising that he loves the solitude of these mountains and the glory of these northern sunsets. But get back before the snow flies, Gary. We want to see you again in Hedda Hopper's Hollywood.